Hello, YouTube. Miners' Day is a professional holiday of miners, whose history began during the Soviet Union. After the collapse of the USSR, it is still celebrated in Russia, Belarus, Estonia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, and Kyrgyzstan. On the last Sunday of the month of August, so it's 27th of August 2023 that we're speaking about. And before the celebration of the Day of the Miners, so to say, Komsomolskaya Pravda Russian newspaper has collected the most incredible and amazing finds of miners of recent years from coal mines. Let's hear some from Kuzbas. Kemerovo Oblast, Kuzbas, also known simply as Kemerovo Oblast, after the Kuznetsk Basin, is a federal subject of Russia, an oblast, that's the word for it. Kemerovo Oblast is located in southwestern Siberia, where the West Siberian plain meets the South Siberian mountains. The oblast, which covers an area of 95,500 square kilometers, or 36,900 square miles, shares a border with the Tomsk Oblast in the north, Krasnoyarsk Krai, and the Republic of Khakassia in the east, and the Altai Republic in the south. And with the Novosibirsk Oblast and Altai Krai in the west. And I've told you a lot about Siberia, some of the names you just heard. I tell you about particular paranormal phenomena associated with those areas, from UFOs to strange artifacts found. And I'll tell you more, of course. But here's what I want to tell you about January 2015. When the bucket of the excavator in the bottom of the mine cut, so to say, at a depth of 30 meters, came across something solid. And we rescued the object, said the mining master Artur Presnyakov. In the shape, it was a flying saucer with a diameter of little more than a meter, weighing about 200 kilos. The lateral rib is clear, thin, as if it has been processed with a tool. There are 3 encircling bands along the edge. Their width is the same. At the bottom, you can feel 4 symmetrical bulges. Connect them. It's like a square. Well, as if it was made for the chassis. The disc was named Karakansky after the cut. After the area where it was found. The disk is approximately 260 million years old. Kuzbas Raznets Ugol entity, plant, presented it to the Kuzbas Museum of Local Lore. Officially, the disk is a natural. Geologists have determined that it is a stone, a concretion, which is It's a mass of mineral matter found generally in rock of a composition different from its own and produced by deposition from aqueous solution in the rock. So that's what the scientists think about it. But the head of Kosmopoisk organization put forward another hypothesis. Who knows, maybe before the appearance of modern man on Earth, it was a machine or part of it. Another researcher evidently stated the disk is man-made, but not by aliens, but by a vanished terrestrial civilization. The disk found by Artur Presnyakov was transferred to the Kuzbas Museum of Local Lore. And Kemerovo resident Shmakov, a former lecturer at the Department of Metal Technology, stated, the disk is artificial. But Dmitry Slobodin, head of the Department of Scientific Research and Expeditions of the Kuzbas State Museum of Local Lore, told Komsomolskaya Pravda, but this is only a concretion and nothing else. So which hypothesis wins? Besides, after that Karakansky disk, more discs were found in Kuzbas. Let me read you from my notes from that time. I remember I featured information that I received from Kosmopoisk too. So here's what I have. On January 31, 2015, During blasting operations carried out at the Dunaevsky section of the Makhovsky coal mine, unusual objects were taken from a depth of about 40 meters. Two, alas, fell apart, but the third survived. The artifact is a biconvex lens with a well-defined edge, coupled with a round cap with a diameter of 36 centimeters, slightly offset from the center. The dome and the base are cemented with finely dispersed petrified mud, which also covers most of the rest of the surface. The silhouette of the find exactly resembles the classic flying saucer. Experts have determined that the disk is monolithic. There are no cavities inside. It weighs about 200 kilograms and consists of carbonized siltstone. However, judging by the chip on the edge, it may also be a flint with a characteristic cancellous fracture. A solid mineral is able to completely replace the material of an object that has lain underground for millions of years, perfectly preserving its original shape. The composition of the disk differs sharply from the composition of the host rocks, represented mainly by sandstones. In favor of the hypothesis of the man-made origin of the object, there are noticeable traces of processing on its surface and an unusual stepped structure. The mining master Artur Presnyakov, who discovered this object, is sure that nature could not create such a miracle. He suggested that we are dealing either with a fossil UFO or with a projectile of our distant ancestors. Anatoly Kondakov, director of the Kuznetsk Geological Museum, holds the opposite opinion. He considers the mysterious disk to be an ordinary concretion, a spherical mineral aggregate. The flattened shape can be explained by the pressure of the upper layers. Ufologists were also extremely interested in the amazing find. On March 19, 2015, a press conference was held, attended by a representative of the Kosmopoisk Association, writer and traveler Vadim Alexandrovich Chernovrov. He passed away, a young scientist, in 2017. His contribution to the research of paranormal phenomena, of UFOs and related subjects in the post-Soviet Union and Russia is tremendous. And unfortunately, I don't think we have anybody else as active as he was today. But I know that Kosmopoisk carries on their expeditions. On his initiative, the disk was transferred to the Kemerovo Regional Museum of Local Lore for eternal storage. At the site of the artifact's discovery, curious finds have come across before: tree trunks, mammoth tusks, and even a dinosaur egg, which quickly turned into dust, but nothing like the disk has ever been encountered. On the same day, an elongated cylinder was found with it, pointed at one end. This pencil, so to say, weighed so much that it could not be lifted off the ground. Unfortunately, the amazing stone was taken to the dump. The age of the strata surrounding the Karakansky disk, and hence it itself, is about 250 to 260 million years old. Interestingly, this is not only the boundary of the Permian and Triassic periods, but also the boundary of the geological eras, Paleozoic and Mesozoic. The Paleozoic ended with the most massive extinction in the history of our planet, and most likely cause of which is considered to be the fall of one or more large asteroids. But during a global catastrophe or disaster, a great ancient civilization could have been also destroyed. And in my videos, I have more about this very interesting period in the history of our planet and strange discoveries. You will look through my videos, you will find more about this. And by the way, I understand that in China they found similar discs also not that long ago. But there was something else they found in the Kemerovo Oblast, in those mines. We're talking about so-called secrets of the underground forest. At one time, there was a stone grove near the site of the modern building there. More precisely, fossilized stumps were found deep underground. The first fragment of the tree trunk, was found by Malikov, father and son, excavator driver, and his assistant. And over time, the miners of that section collected 7 fragments of trees. The largest is about 1.5 meter high, weighing about 200 kilograms. They were not looking for ancient forests, especially during their work, but they always looked around closely, and they found something. They even talked about the tallest trunk of an underground tree. It was under 25 meters, but it broke at the next operational explosion there. Stone stumps were also transferred to the Kuzbas Museum of Local Lore. So if you ever visit the area in the most interesting Siberia, you know what to look for. And that's where they stand today. And I think they determined there what kind of trees there were. Cordates, coniferous, completely extinct. The needles were not the same as they are now, and it looks more like willow leaves, according to Slobodin, whom I mentioned before. They are about 250 million years old. Interesting, huh? It's almost the same time when the disc found its place in what is a mine today. Cordates are extinct seed plants and had long strap-like leaves and simple combs, and they existed from the Carboniferous to the Permian. Scientists consider cordates to be closely related to conifers. Cordates are reconstructed as growing as trees to up to 150 feet or 45 meters tall and woody shrubs, and some have proposed that they even involved a mangrove habit with prop roots living in standing waters. And at that time, there were no birds in the thicket. After all, even dinosaurs were not yet in the world, but there were animal-toothed reptiles. But the sky was purely blue, and the trees were big, and the water was transparent from what we can guess. And I will tell you more about interesting stories from Siberia, of course, and about any traces of alien artifacts from the past memorial and antiquity. And to the miners among my audience, I congratulate you on the Day of the Miners. I know your work is very, very hard and not safe. I had a relative who was active in the mining industry in the Soviet Ukraine. And again, congratulations on your day. Now, if you like my research and can support it, you will find the links on how to do it in the description to this video. Please kindly like my videos, tell others about my channel as well. Thank you.